Hey guys, Kayla here. I'm here to do a quick video on disassembly of my Taurus G2C. It is one of the starter guns that I'm going to do for my Cerakote process to kind of practice and see how it goes. This is the first gun I ever purchased. For carrying, it is a great gun. It shoots well. For the price, it's great. But it just, for a smaller build female, they're just not very practical to carry unless you're wearing baggier clothes and such. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to disassemble that, and we're going to break it all the way down to where I have just the frame and the slide with no sights or anything on it, because I am going to Cerakote it. So let's go ahead and get into that. Oh, hold on. So first off, so I purchased this kit, the Real Avid. It's an AR-15 punch set, but works with, you know, just about anything. There's several different punches in here. There's a hammer with interchangeable heads for it. And then there's a set of, a pin alignment tool. It's basically just a set of tweezers to help hold pins in place if you need to. I also got this Hyper Tough 77 piece screwdriver set from Walmart, super cheap, because I needed really small screwdrivers in order to take out the front sight and the rear sight on this gun. So we're going to be using those. Thank you to Grunt Style for the awesome t-shirt that not only represents 2A, which I'm a big supporter of, obviously, but it also represents my state. All right, let's get into this. All right, so this is the Taurus G2C that I was talking about. First one I ever purchased, like I said, back when I purchased this thing was like 250 bucks. But for that price point, these are a great gun. They really are. I use this one to take a course, so this thing has actually only had about 50 rounds through it, but it shot great. I never had any issues with it, no jamming or anything of that sort. So first things first, obviously with any gun you want to make sure that it's clear before you mess with it. So the G2C has a safety on it. The thing with the safety on these is that you cannot rack the gun while it's on safe. So I have to disengage that. So first off, there's no magazine in it. We're gonna disengage the safety, finger off the trigger. I'm gonna rack it back. It is clear. All right, so in order to take this apart, take the slide off the frame, it's super simple. So I always kind of wrap around and pull back just a touch. Right here on the side are the takedown levers. There's one on each side. So you're gonna pull those down simultaneously, let it go forward, and then in order for the slide to actually come off this gun, we do have to pull the trigger. So we're gonna pull the trigger up, it slides forward a little bit, ready to go off. So take that off. I'm gonna set the frame aside right at the moment. We're gonna go ahead and do the slide first. So obviously take out the spring. We're not doing anything with that, so it's just gonna get set aside. For the barrel here, you're just gonna slide it forward just a little bit, pull up, and pull it on out of there. This one, I'm still debating if I want to Cerakote the barrel or not, but it's ready if we are ready to do that. So for this first one, so this is super easy. I mean, usually if you just pull out a punch, or probably even a flathead screwdriver, you can do this. So the first part we're going to take out here, well, first we're going to take out the back plate here. And in order to do that, you have to pull up or pull forward on the this little orange piece in here, which is your striker assembly. You're going to pull forward on that just a little bit, and then you should be able to slide that back plate. So there it goes. All right, so that back plate slid out a little bit. So I'm gonna just kind of hold the striker assembly and slide that on out of there. Just make sure the striker doesn't come out, it shouldn't. And then we're just gonna slide the striker right out the back. So there's your striker assembly. So you're just going to set that aside. Again, that's not a piece that we're going to mess with. The back plate will probably get sprayed, depending on what color I decide to do that. So then the next part is going to be your extractor here on the side. In order to take that out, inside here, right here next to that firing pin block, there's a little detent right there. You're going to push that detent down, and as you can see, as you kind of look at this, you can see that there's a piece here that detent is sitting into. That's the extractor. So we're going to push that down far enough to get the extractor to start to come out the side, and then we can just pull the extractor out. So we're going to push down there. Oh, this punch is too big for that. So I'm going to pull out the 1/16. It's the smallest punch. So I mean, when you're using force with it, just be careful because these do bend and break very easily. Although I don't think this set would break quite as easily as what I'm used to. Just for some clarification, I've done a total of 5 years in the Marine Corps now, of which I've been an armorer. If you don't know what that is, basically I fix the guns that the Marine Corps uses. So I've been doing that for technically a total of about 4 years. So disassembly and stuff of guns. Here comes that extractor. So we're going to take that extractor out. So there's your extractor. There's also a spring for it. And that spring just falls right out. It doesn't really have a spot that it sits snug or anything. And then that detent is nice and loose in there. So we're going to dump it out, and out it comes. So then you have that detent and spring. Just keep them together. And then your firing pin block's going to fall out of there too. And it's got a spring. Apparently it got gunked up from something. I don't know what, because I just had it out a few days ago and it was fine. And then the last thing besides the sights, the last piece you're going to take out here is the loaded chamber indicator. So yes, the Taurus does have a loaded chamber indicator. We're going to take that out. So there is holes on the side here that pin is what's holding that loaded chamber indicator in there. And the spring's not anything crazy. I'm going to use this tape because I don't have a bench block. If you have a bench block, it makes it a lot easier. Here comes, this is that pin spring that's in there holding that loaded chamber indicator. And then the loaded chamber indicator, the spring's not anything crazy or anything. So there's your loaded chamber indicator, and the spring is in here as well, as I just dropped it. And it's very tiny, so just be careful, make sure you hold on and you know where that's at. So we're gonna set that up here. And again, the loaded chamber indicator is probably a piece that's going to get Cerakoted to match the rest of the gun. All right, so with this, we're going to set the punch set aside real quick. And I'm going to open up the screwdriver. So for the front sight, you need a 1.5 millimeter piece in order to do that. Thankfully, this set here has that. It is a hex shape as well. So we're gonna get this out of here. This set comes with a piece in it already, so we're gonna set that aside, put this in there. And so right down in here, in the front of the gun, is where that front sight screw is at. So we're just gonna undo that real quick. Okay, well, well, here's your Google isn't always right, people. Because 1.5 is not correct. It is a 2 millimeter. Maybe. It's going to take some force, it seems. So this is at a bit of a weird angle, and then it seems like it might be, I don't know if it's so gunked up, and that's why it won't come out. But that 2 millimeter does fit in there. Let's see if maybe the 2.5 might do it even better. Although I think that's too big. Yeah, 2.5 is too big. So it's got to be the 2. I'm just trying to see if maybe it's one of these other ones. I swear I looked this up. It was supposed to be the 1.5, but it's looking like it's probably going to be the 2. But it might be just kind of gunked up in there, which is what's making it difficult to get it off there. So I might have to get some WD-40 or something to spray in there and see if we can get that out. All right, so we're gonna go to the front or the rear sight, because the rear sight is fairly simple. So the rear sight, right here in the middle here, there's a flat head. So you just unscrew that, and then the sights are gonna slide right out the side. So, oh, get that in there all the way. Let's see, where's my flats? Here we go. So I'm using a T9 flathead. It fits in there perfect, pretty much. So there's the screw. It's super small. And then, like I said, we're just gonna slide these right out the side. And there's your sights. Once I get that front sight off, obviously this will be completely broken down. It'll be ready to spray. So I got to see if I can spray it with some WD-40 or something to get that out of there, because for some reason that front sight doesn't want to come out. All right, so that is the top of this. I will do another video at another time to do the frame. The frame doesn't take very long either. So we will get that taken apart and show you guys how that gets done so we can get this thing ready to be sprayed. All right, so now we're going to take apart the frame part of the gun. So we're going to start out with the takedown levers here on the side. Inside here, there is, oh, if I can get a hold of that. Right here, this little crossbar here, that is the takedown levers. Underneath there is a little button, which is like the spring for those. So we're going to push down on that. And then if you pull them down just a little bit, maybe, then this should come right out one side. I just have to get a hold of it. Let's see. If you pull them down far enough, well, of course, now it doesn't want to cooperate. There it goes. All right. So you got to kind of, oh, there goes the piece. All right, so be careful when you take that out of there. The spring is still in there, but the detent or whatever that goes inside that spring just shot out from me. So the trick to that is kind of, when you go to take these takedown levers out, when you get that compressed, you got to kind of like pull down on one side of the takedown lever, but not the other, and kind of pull it down. Kind of gets it into position to bring it back out. So let's go ahead and dump that spring out of there, if it'll come out. All right, there's the spring for that. I'm gonna set that up there, set the takedown lever up there. The takedown lever is something else that's gonna get sprayed. So let's go. So we're gonna go for this pin next right here. That should release the trigger and all that stuff on the front end of the gun. Let's see, the 1/16 might be a little too small. You don't want it to get wedged because this spring pin that's in here is open. So you don't want to use a punch that's too small because it can cause that to expand, and then you won't be able to reuse it. So it looks like the 3/32 is about perfect. It's not too big for it to get stuck in there, but it goes right through. There's that spring pin. So then this should just kind of wiggle out. The only thing is this trigger bar right here is underneath. So we're gonna go ahead and pop out the back two pins. So back here, oh sorry, back here where the safety's at, there's two holes. Now this one, I believe, is tapered to some degree. So, when you knock that out, you have to knock it out, I believe, from the left side of the gun. So we're just going to go ahead and use the left side. I'm going to use that 1/16. Let's see. Nope. Yep. It's going. Okay. Just want to make sure. That first pin came out. Let's get this second one. Yep, it's going. All right, so we got both of those popped out. So those are both good. Set them aside. And then this should just come out of here. Let's see. Let's see, maybe it takes some finagling to get out of there. Oh. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, so maybe a screwdriver or something to kind of pry it out of there. I got it broke loose. I'm just gonna, oh, there it goes. And I believe we might have dropped the bearing that goes in there. So in here where the safety's at, let's see if I can get the safety off. Let's see if we can get this undone. I think I just have it in the wrong position. That it should come apart. Let's see. Yeah, that just takes some finesse there to get out of. Trying to see what's keeping that from coming out. Oh, that's why. Oh yeah. So this piece here was caught up in the inside. So you got to kind of work it out of there, kind of into a U shape as you pull it out. As you can see, this gun apparently really broke down to be cleaned after firing it. This was 50 rounds that were shot probably 2 years ago, and so it's pretty dirty. I'm not going to break this down any further than it already is. This piece is inside the gun. You're not going to see it without actually breaking the gun down. So I'm not worried about coloring this. However, I am going to color the safety so that it matches the rest of the gun. So we're going to set that with the takedown levers. And then as you can see, here's that trigger bar I was talking about that was stuck underneath the whole sear and stuff assembly. So we couldn't take out the trigger and stuff. So right now I'm going to take out the trigger. That'll take out the trigger bar, trigger, along with the slide stop, and all that is going to come out with it. So there's that all in one. So now, other than the magazine catch, my frame is completely broke apart. So I just got to look and see. So the next thing will just be getting the magazine catch out of there, because I am going to spray that as well. Set that aside. And then we're going to take the trigger off of this as well. There is a trigger spring in there, so we're just going to keep an eye out as we take that out. And I think these might just go one way. It looks like they might have a head on them. So we are gonna see if I can set this up on here. Oh, let me get that 1/16 again to see if we can get the trigger out of here. This is a bit tricky because there's not really a way to, I don't want to bend the trigger bar. Well, that's gonna take some work to figure out exactly how to position this to get that out of there. All right, so we're gonna take the trigger and stuff out of here. So the trigger, there's this little pin right here, right in front of the trigger bar. It just pops right out. So we're gonna pop that out. And the trigger, if you kind of just rotate it out towards the trigger bar and pull it out, there's that. And then we're gonna take the slide stop off too, because like I said, that's another piece we're gonna spray. Behind that is this spring here. So the slide stop just kind of rotates outward. And then if you rotate it backwards to fit in between that spring and the rest of this, then it comes right out. So there's our slide stop. We're gonna add that to the pieces that we're spraying. And then with the trigger, we'll probably, might be able to just spray the whole thing. If not, we're gonna break this down too so that we can spray just the trigger, so that the trigger matches the rest of the gun as well. And it looks like there's a couple pins there. Maybe just a matter of figuring out which direction they go, or if they'll go at all. Oh, helps if my finger's not right over the other end of it. see. All right, so it takes a little bit of getting the trigger into the right position to get these pins out, which is kind of difficult. But I got that one. I got the bottom one out. Let's see. I'm gonna hold the back of this just because that spring's probably gonna pop. Let's see. Yep. So see, I got this bottom pin out. I went from the right side of the trigger to the left, and it came out because it is shaped. It does have a head on it. So we're gonna see if we can pull that spring out. It's kind of connected to the trigger bar, so the trigger bar might just have to, oh, yep. So just pulled the trigger bar out, and that spring is hooked to the trigger bar, so just be careful when you pull that out because the spring will go flying. So if you kind of just hold on to the spring as you pull the trigger bar out, then it shouldn't be an issue. All right, so now I want to say we might be okay to, well, no, because there's that metal piece there. I don't want to mess that up. So let's see if we can get this, the trigger safety out of there. This is going to be another one that's going to take some getting this into the correct position in order to be able to get it out of there, which is easier said than done. Okay, so I got it started. So let's see if we can finish it. There we go. All right. So now we got that one out of there. And again, that one has a head on it as well. So you do have to knock those out from the right-hand side of the trigger to the left. And then, all right, so then there's this little bar in the back. So you just pull that and pull back, and that pulls the trigger safety out of there, which has like its own little, it's not even a spring, it's plastic, but its own little piece built in, so we can spray these separately. So we're gonna add these to our spray container. All right, so it looks like we've got all that broke down aside from, let's see if we can get this magazine catch out of here, which should be fairly simple. They're just always a bit harder to get back in. So I'm just gonna use a flathead screwdriver and see if we can get this out of here. So down in there, you're not gonna be able to see it, but if you just look down inside, there is a like bar, which is the spring for the magazine catch. So we're gonna get down in there and see if we can pop that out. All right, so after messing around with this a little bit, the magazine release is out. So down in here, hopefully right there. So down in this little notch here, there's a little like bar, and that's kind of the spring for the mag catch. So when you go to take this magazine release out, you're just gonna take a screwdriver and push that towards the front of the frame and push it out of the way, because on the back of this mag release is this little notch here. And so you're gonna push it back so that this can slide out. So I slid it out from the left to the right. So now we've got that out of there. We're gonna add that to our pieces that are being sprayed. Frame is completely broke down. The slide is completely broke down apart from that front sight. I'm gonna have to spray it or something, let it sit for a little bit and see if we can get that to turn and come out of there.